What's good? What's good? What's good? It's your man, 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. Today is finally Detroit basketball back for another game against the Boston Celtics. Number 3 in the conference. They've been hot as hell since they beat us over a week ago. Albeit it was in Boston, but it was also for the Emirates Cup, an opportunity to make some real money and a real competition. And so that game was no fluke. I'm not going to discount it. They didn't have Neemias Queta. We weren't quite back in our rhythm with Ivy and everyone in their roles. There were a lot of different things going on, but I want to dive into all of that. First of all, before I do, though, I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you had an amazing time of rest, connection with your family, friends. Hopefully, you laughed hard. You loved on some people around you, and you're really enjoying this season. Hopefully, staying warm too, because it's cold as hell out there. But before I dive in, if you could smash the like button for me. Remember, it's a small thing for you, but a big thing for the channel. It really makes a difference. So I appreciate all the love. Make sure you hit subscribe if you haven't already, and the bell for notifications, especially the little all quotation at the top after you hit the bell. And make sure that you get notifications for all the posts, all the surveys, all the little shorts that I might do, so that you're fully immersed within the community. And last but not least, if you would like to become a member, please do. You get that yellow star, get that blue star. It really means a lot to the channel. I truly appreciate it because this is a beautiful space for me to talk Detroit basketball. But without further ado, let's get into this. Let's get into this. I'm sure all of us have been itching for Detroit basketball to come back. I'm sure all of us have been watching everyone else play. There was a fantastic game between OKC and the San Antonio Spurs. I didn't even get the chance to finish watching it. I just heard about it. I seen clips of it, seen bits of it. I'll probably take a look at it sooner than later. But it's to say that we have opportunity to watch fantastic basketball, enjoy it. I love the game. I would be what I refer to as a purist of the game. I love the game of basketball. And I love high quality, high level basketball, um, which is why I'm excited about these Detroit Pistons tonight. These Detroit Pistons have been emerging. And if I'm honest with you, they are beginning. It may sound weird to say, it may sound awkward to say, but I feel like we are only just emerging and being hmm, and starting to flex our muscles. We're just starting to. The Cade Cunningham taking over in the fourth quarter. Okay, that's fantastic. But those things are kind of like, all right, that looks good. But we all know, well, in the playoffs, that only takes you so far. You need teamwork. You need a system. You need a collective of players on the same page. And to be honest, the Detroit Pistons have not been that for the most part. They have been a lot of individual guys kind of doing their thing, and it has worked because we're just so talented and we have depth. So we had a lot of things working for us. But I wouldn't necessarily say we were flexing our muscles. And when I say flexing our muscles, I'm talking about the way Oklahoma City is flexing their muscles. I'm talking about the way the Denver Nuggets, when they're healthy, flexes their muscles. I'm talking about the way that true contenders flex their muscles and let most teams know you're really not on this level. You're really not on this level. And our last game against the Atlanta Hawks was probably the first time that I would say for sure, oh, we flexed our muscles. Oh, we got real big. We flexed. We was like, yeah, you thought. You thought. You thought you was right here, didn't you? You thought you were right here with us. You thought because we only beat you by one the last time that you was a lot closer to this number one seed than you really are. And we had to flex on them. We had to flex on Atlanta. We had to let them know, hey, bro, this shit ain't sweet. This ain't what you want. You don't want any of this smoke. You don't want this. And we went in there and proceeded as my man Deuce would say, downtown Deuce on his channel. I love how he puts it. Says we had to do that BTA, put that belt to ass. And we had to let them know we're big bro now. We are the captain now of the Eastern Conference. This is the first time I would have to say it was a truly, from beginning to end, absolutely dominant performance by the Detroit Pistons. 142 to 115. And it wasn't even really that close. But now we've got Boston. We've got Boston. We've got the Celtics. They were coming off of a rough loss. I think it was to Charlotte or Washington, something like that. Y'all let me know in the chat who it was. But they lost to somebody that they probably shouldn't have over the last couple of games. But at the same time, they also had a break. And sometimes you just get tired. Remember, these are the dog days of the NBA. You have trap games. You can't get up for every single game. 82 game season. There's absolutely no other league in the world that has the type of schedule, physical demand, is the marathon that is the NBA season. With that acknowledged, their beating of the Detroit Pistons in Boston, as I said earlier at the beginning of this, was not an accident. It was not a fluke. There were some things that they did really well. Some things that I would say was an aberration to a degree, right? Derek White dropping 20-something points in the second half, going on an absolute heater, hitting three after three after three. It's probably not going to happen again. Josh Minot hitting big threes in the first half to kind of recapture the momentum. Bad turnovers back to back to back. It's probably not going to happen by the Detroit Pistons. Probably not going to have the fall off at the back end of that first quarter into the second quarter the way we did before. This time around, this rendition of the Detroit Pistons is real. Is real. Is set. Is settled. Not completely set, because we know eventually Ivy will be back in that starting lineup. But it's settling in. Guys are figuring out exactly who they need to be within our system. They're embracing those roles, as we've talked about many times with Ron Holland, right? We said that many times at the beginning of the season. We felt like Ron Holland was pressing, like he was pushing, like he was trying to grow his role and be something a little bit more than maybe we thought. Maybe we all thought he was ready for, but really maybe he wasn't ready for, if that makes sense. And so Ron Holland, as a result, was struggling early on in the season. He was trying to do a little bit too much, overthinking. And at some point, probably at the point where I was like, man, ready to send him into the G League and be like, yo, figure it out. They're in the G. But he figured it out in real time, just like Ivy has. He's figured out how to simplify what he's doing. Kick out, open three, take the three. Or attack his matchup, attack the closeout. And when he has been decisive like that, he has looked absolutely fantastic for us. It was a small switch. It was one of those things that you might refer to as a stepping stone, as a turning point, as a moment where something got unlocked when it got figured out. I don't have to do everything. I don't have to play like him. I don't have to play like him. What I have to do is play like me and maximize what I'm being asked to do. And since then, Ron Holland has been on an absolute tear. He has been coming in and has actually, if I'm honest, looked dominant in that role. In that kind of Josh Hart, really kind of simplified 3 and D, get out in transition, hit the boards, play with a lot of energy, roll. Jaden Ivey as well. He has also had to acclimate to a growing role. We know what his role will continue to grow into. We've seen it. We've seen the game winners. We've seen him take over games. At this point in time, as Detroit Pistons fans, we should know who Jaden Ivey is. Should not get caught up in the conversations. We should not get caught up in the trade proposals. I think it would be absolutely foolhardy, ridiculous for the Detroit Pistons to trade Jaden Ivey at this point. I think it makes absolutely no sense at all. At all. for them to be looking at deals entertaining any of these $50 million a year players. Trey Murphy is not coming here. There's no reason why New Orleans would want him, especially because they have Jeremiah Fears, which means lessens their need for Jaden Ivey. They have Trey Murphy, so why would they want Asar Thompson? These things just really don't make sense. They might want a Jalen Duren, but then they have Derek Queen. That whole Trey Murphy thing is not happening. Lauri Markkanen, it's not happening. These other guys, Anthony Davis's, and it's not happening. Unless something happened over the weekend, please let me know. Because I'm under the last conversation that Trajan Langdon and JB Bickerstaff have outright said preseason, early in the season, we are still figuring out what we have in this team. Until we've seen Jaden Ivey in that starting lineup, we still have not seen what we have in this team. That is a reality. That is matter of fact. We don't know. And at the same time that we are 19-5, we have to concede that if we still don't know how good we can be, and we are first place in the Eastern Conference, with looking like we're going to have at least 2 All-Stars. At least. Don't let Asar Thompson go on a roll. Don't let him emerge. Don't let him go on a tear. Don't let him start to really figure this thing out. If he does, we might have 3. Shoot, I've said it before. Jaden Ivey is a future All-Star too. Don't let him all of a sudden turn that corner, flip that switch, figure it out. And the crazy part is, would we be shocked if he does? Would we be shocked if Jaden Ivey figures it out? The last game against Atlanta, Asar Thompson had 12 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 blocks. The game before that, he had 13 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal. Y'all can't see something's happening with Asar Thompson. I'm not even going to sit on this point long. Can we not see that something is happening? Something is emerging. Despite being the number 1 team in the Eastern Conference, despite having the best record in the East, despite these dominant performances, we're still growing as a team. We are still emerging as a dominant force in the NBA. I know January, February, it's going to get real interesting. We're going to have the Lakers. We're going to have the Warriors. We're going to have the Nuggets. We're going to have Oklahoma City finally. We're going to have some of these tougher teams, the New York Knicks, right? We're going to start having these really big games, but let's not discount what we've already had. Beating Houston was not a fluke. And tonight we get Boston. We've already beat Boston, but they've beat us too. And I think this becomes a moment where we have an opportunity to really assert ourselves, to really prove to ourselves who we are. Boston is no slouch. And I want to go through this team a little bit, just so we can kind of review, not just from the game, the rewatch that we did, because there were a lot of different elements. Derek White at the time was having a lot of shooting struggles. He was pressing, trying to figure himself out. They didn't have Neemias Queta, their 7'6" wingspan Portuguese center, who's proving that he is a legitimate NBA center, probably in the vein of the Ryan Kalkbrenner, Donovan Klingons type. Doesn't shoot, though I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't develop that. But it's just to say that he's that solid big man who does big man things really well. Sets the screen, he boxes out, clears the boards, blocks the shot, rim runs, finishes around the rim, gets to the free throw line. He does the big man things well, really well. That makes a difference, especially if their alternative was starting Luka Garza, which I thought, to be honest, that they should have just let Luka Garza shoot threes right off the top. I would have done a pick and pop and been like, fire that thing. Fire the first thing, because one of the things that we struggle with is covering that 3-point line, which is something that we struggled with in the last game against the Celtics. That's good. I make my own fresas. A little strawberry lime fresa. Fire. All right. Let me just say this. The Boston Celtics can hurt us where we are probably most vulnerable. They did last game, and likely they will attempt to do so again this game. They will shoot a hell of a lot of threes. If I had to bet an over-under for the Boston Celtics shooting more threes than they do twos, I'd probably bet the over. Not just because of their predisposition offensively, but because it's actually to their advantage. It's to their advantage. Their ability to get up a lot of threes, forcing our defense out to the perimeter, is an advantage, is a tactical strategy that teams understand at this point they have to do to have a chance to be in the game against us. They have to shoot the three ball well. They have to shoot a lot of threes, because if they rely upon their ability to get into the paint, to get past Asar Thompson, to get past Cade and Isaiah Stewart, and to get past Dennis Jenkins on the perimeter, or Ron Holland, to get past our defense on the perimeter, to get into the paint, if they have to rely on that, they're likely setting themselves up for a long night. It's going to be a whole lot of turnovers, a whole lot of tough contested twos. The offense for them is going to get mucked up, slowed down, and we're going to get out in transition. Now, I will say this, something that we have improved upon the last couple of games, I've been really interested in seeing more and more, has been Ron Holland's ability and Asar Thompson's ability, and I would say Cade a little bit as well too, to rebound long misses. This is an adjustment. This is an adjustment that we're seeing from JB Bickerstaff that I think is really good, that we're taking note of in this moment. That the Pistons are forcing teams to shoot a lot of threes because they can't finish on the interior because of our defense. So if we know they're going to be shooting a lot of threes, we have to become experts at rebounding out of the area for long misses. It starts with boxing out, but it also means that our guards have to rebound. Asar, Ron, Cade, Ivy, Dennis, Karras, Duncan, we have to rebound. We have to rebound the long misses that are falling somewhere between 15 to 18 feet away from the rim. There's another reason why big men don't average as many rebounds as they used to back in the day, because of all these threes. You can't just camp out under the rim and swallow up rebounds. Now you have to kind of position yourself, sealing your man, and then being able to make a break for the ball. Think Marcus Camby type, right? Andre Drummond. You got to have timing. You got to see the angles, and then you have to have great reflexes to react to the ball coming off the rim. Let me get to some of these chat members here. First off, one of my members, Ghostkeeper 7216. It's wonderful to see you in the chat, as always. His comment here, I feel like Ron was pressing and struggling playing next to Karras. I do too. Karras is a very ball-dominant player. And I keep having to reiterate this. Ron Holland has never been in a role like this, probably since elementary school. Ron Holland has probably always throughout his life been him. Remember, he's 6'8", 6'10", 6'11" wingspan. For all intents and purposes, he's probably a top 5% athlete in the NBA. Not Asar Thompson, 0.1, right? Or Amen Thompson, 0.5, right? But he's definitely top 5% of athletes in the NBA, which means that he is an ungodly athlete everywhere else he has ever been, including the G League. He's been one of the best athletes, which means that many times you get the most opportunity. You get the green light. You get the carte blanche. You get the team revolving around you. Everybody, what do? Give the ball to Ron. Okay, after you give the ball to Ron, he swings around. He kicks it back out. What do? Give the ball to Ron. I don't know if y'all seen the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air back in the day. Will Smith was on the basketball team, and the coach was running it through with the team, and then Carlton tried to be a fool, and one of the dudes then we shoot the ball, and he was like, give me 10 laps for being smart. And the rest of the team was like, give the ball to Will, right? That's how Ron was used to playing for the longest. Give the ball to Ron. Now, all of a sudden, the last couple of years, it's give the ball to him, and everyone else. And Ron, you get it off the rim. That's a hell of an adjustment. It's taken him a while. We've seen flashes. And now he's settling in. What we're seeing now when Ron Holland is able to get those long rebounds is he's able to start our break. And what's been beautiful is he hasn't been on the break alone. He's been on that fast break, that transition offense, easy scoring opportunities, catching the defense on their heels, sprinting back to get set. It's always been Ron and Karras, Ron and Dennis, Ron and Asar, Ron and Kate, Ron and someone else running with him that defenses cannot figure out. Because no one has the athleticism and the size to contain multiple athletes on the wing, coming at them in a fast break. Teams are just not built like that. Maybe you can slow down one guy, not 2 and 3. And remember, these are opportunities that are coming just off of missed threes and missed shots, not necessarily steals and blocks. Those are a wash. If we get a steal, we're gone. It's a bucket. But now we're turning your misses into fast break opportunities because of our athleticism. And this is something that I've pointed out that we were going to be like this 2 years ago, 2 summers ago. I said Asar Thompson and Jaden Ivey with Cade Cunningham were going to be the scariest guard wing attack in transition in the NBA. The height, size, athleticism, verticality, speed, length, all with the ability to handle the ball, pass the ball, coming at you on the wings. Lights out. Lights out. The teams we go up against, they might have one guy. They ain't got 2 and 3. And now we come off the bench with Ron Holland. I think this is going to impact this game against the Boston Celtics tremendously. The reality is, Boston doesn't have a lot of guards that can stop ball penetration. They have good size on the wings with Jordan Walsh. And I think he's going to play a big role in this game. Josh Minot, Hugo Gonzalez. Apparently, they like wings that start with the letter J. Jalen, Jason, Jordan, Josh. That's a whole lot of J's. That's a whole lot of J's. I think there's one more too. Oh, Hugo. Hugo starts with a J, J-U-G-O, right? They love J's. If they could get a guy whose name starts with J, that's a Boston Celtic for they behind. All this to say, jokes aside, those guys are gonna have a hell of a night trying to contain the Detroit Pistons in transition. Let me get to some of these other points here. Donovan was good. Salute. It's good to see you in the chat. What is your Detroit Pistons guard ranking? Probably somewhere along the line of like Cade. I don't know. Duncan's been playing great. Karras has been playing great. Ivy, then Dennis, then Ivy type of deal. Yeah, because I wouldn't consider Ron or Asar guards, even though they have a lot of guard skills. They are definitely wing forwards. Let me see. William Herzog was good. What up, though? Can't wait for the game tonight. Yo, me too. I'll definitely probably be going live right after the game. If not, tomorrow morning for sure, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. I will be going live for sure tomorrow morning. If not, but for sure in the morning. Let me see. Is it just me with the insight? Yo, what's good? It's good to see you in the chat. Jordan Walsh and Pritchard must be shut down period. Can't afford those two to get any kind of confidence, or this game might be over. You know what? I wouldn't say over. I would not say over. I think we are talented enough that Boston can have their best game and we have our best game and we beat them handedly. I just think we have more talent. The reality is, if we have our best game, there's no way Boston has their best game. But even if it's that playoff style, nip tuck, every possession matters, hard bucket, tough shot, um, they're running their offense, playing great on both ends, I still think Detroit is significantly better. We're deeper, we have more talent, more size on the interior, more skill on the interior. One thing I said before when I was doing the rewatch was that Bobby Portis ate their asses up against the Milwaukee Bucks. He ate their asses up, coming off the bench, scoring on the interior. They tried to go with Josh Mina, and he big boyed them, he sunned them, he made them look so small. And that is something that Isaiah Stewart has been doing at large over the last stretch of this season. He has consistently, aggressively attacked mismatches in the post and on the perimeter, and has been extremely aggressive as a scorer from his position. I don't see that ending in this game. If anything, what I see in this game is you're going to see the maturity continue to come through. And the more this team matures, the scarier they get. The scarier they get. Speaking of scary, we got 23 people in the chat, only 10 likes. Remember, if you can smash the like button for me when you get in here, that really helps out the channel. It's a small thing for you, but a really big thing for the channel. So I really appreciate all the love and support when y'all do. Don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell for notifications and become a member as well. It's really dope to have y'all in here. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's get to some of these comments as well. Ghost Keeper, Pistons better whoop Boston. You know what? One of the more exciting storylines in this game that I'm excited for, that I'm really excited for, it's Cade Cunningham versus Jaylen Brown. This is a MVP candidate versus MVP candidate game. Both teams coming off 2-day and a 3-day break, respectively. Pistons with 2 days off, Boston Celtics with 3 days off. Both are coming in fresh. Both are going to be coming in hot. Both are going to be coming in looking to prove something. I do not expect this to be an easy game. I expect this to be a game that demands the best from us. Guys have to be locked in. No more silly turnovers, dribbling the ball off our feet, stuff like that. No more bobbling passes. I want to see us crisp, aggressive, playing confident. You see, I always say this, I am less about if we make the shots, but more so the quality of shots and how we're playing. If you're playing the right way, meaning as a team, within your system, within your roles, playing together, trusting each other, moving the ball, playing with confidence, then I'm going to applaud that, because that generally equals over time maximizing your offensive potential, maximizing your defensive potential. Communication on defense, playing defense with your feet, not your hands, boxing out, rebounding, right? Strong closeouts, anticipating rotations, having your own individual integrity to say, if it's my rotation, I'm going to get there. Not because I think I'm going to stop the shot, not because I think that I'm going to make sure he misses the shot, not because I believe anything else other than I understand the expectation of this team and I am going to do my job, my part within this team construct. That is what I'm responsible for. Not everyone else. Not if everyone else made the rotation. Not if everyone else boxed out. I'm going to do my part. When we play Detroit brand defense, our team has the ability to shut down just about anybody. We have the ability to make the game brutal for absolutely anyone. see. Uh, Mark Volmar. How do Cade and Durant adapt to opponents clamping down on their connection? Are we going to see consistent success again, like we were earlier in the season? That is a great question. This is what I would say, and that's a wonderful question. That's a wonderful question. I appreciate the chat, especially great questions that I would love to answer. Uh, I don't ever think it'll be the same. The pick and roll has become something that is at the top of the board for other teams when they scout and prepare for the Detroit Pistons. I will say this, however, that what I am seeing is that Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren are already aware of their secondary and tertiary options out of that action. So, in other words, what you're beginning to see is Cade Cunningham running the pick and roll aggressively, right? Forcing the defense to make a decision. Are you going to stop the roll? And once he sees the commitment to stop the roll, he's going to look for two options. Asar along the baseline in the dunker spot, flashing, or Tobias Harris with a weak side cut to the basket. If Tobias stays out, he's looking to kick the ball out for a wide open three. Because that pick and roll will demand the low man or the wing man drops down to stop the lob. And they have to get there early enough to disrupt Duran's momentum towards the rim. And even then, there's a chance Cade laces him with a great pass and he still gets the dunk. So teams have to fully commit and sell out to stop that action, which really opens up that secondary, tertiary options to a maximal degree. Now, what is going to happen is teams are going to plan for that. Okay, we're going to sell out here. Who's the first help guy? Who's the second help guy? And we are going to have a counter for their counter. Okay, once we kick it out and they have a rotation, right? Because Tobias Harris isn't necessarily the best passer. He will make a good read, swinging the ball, but more than likely he's going to do his role, which is attempt to score the ball. Now teams are going to start closing out on him that much more, that much harder, and force him to create off the bounce, which I don't think we necessarily really want him to do a lot. What's going to end up happening is that we're going to have a secondary action out of that. Okay, maybe we go right into a little pick and roll action between Tobias Harris and Asar Thompson on the weak side. Maybe Tobias Harris, he knows that the guy helping off of him is Duncan Robinson, and he's looking for Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson maybe has to relocate after his man helps. Maybe Tobias gets the ball and he runs a little dribble handoff action to Duncan Robinson on the weak side. Maybe we run that pick and roll. We swing the ball to Tobias. He gets a hard closeout. Jalen Duren doesn't just sit under the basket. He seals his man in the post, and we get a post entry pass to Jalen Duren, who's matched up, ISO'd on the block, as those defenders now scramble back out. Maybe that's what we do. Maybe Cade Cunningham begins to read that, okay, we got two on Duren, and we've got everyone else spread out to try to make this rotation. Maybe I just keep this ball, kind of back my guy down to that free throw line area and pull up over the top, right? I think we're going to start seeing reads out of that action. We're going to start seeing high-level reads out of that action. Remember, teams build a whole entire offensive systems around an action that other people can't stop. You think Utah Jazz, John Stockton, Karl Malone pick and roll, which made the pick and roll so famous. You think Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire, Jason Kidd and Kenyon Martin. For a short moment, Stephon Marbury and Kevin Garnett. These big man guard actions, Penny and Shaq, Brandon Roy, LaMarcus Aldridge. They were more of a pick and pop duo, but you get the point. Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, or Manu Ginobili. Also, I can't wait to start seeing other guys run that pick and roll action. which if I'm honest with you, once we get Jaden Ivey back in that starting lineup, I think we're going to start seeing him initiate a lot of the pick and roll action as well. And then Cade is on the weak side. And then when the ball's kicked back out, we swing it around to the secondary playmaker like a Cade or Ivy, and then Duran runs back out and sets a screen there. Shoot, we may even start seeing with Isaiah Stewart in a starting lineup, if he gets in there before the end of the season, we might start seeing Stu and Duran run the pick and roll. Stu with the kick out three in the corner, right? There's so many different actions that we can do off of that pick and roll action. I think that we begin to really dominate teams by fine tuning how we are going to set them at a disadvantage every single time we run that action. And now that Cade Cunningham is not pressing, not pushing, being more willing to just get off the ball early and quickly and trust that he'll get it back or someone else will make a play. Now we begin to see that he's not turning the ball over trying to fit into small spaces. He's not turning the ball over trying to get into the teeth of the defense and score with three defenders around him. Now he is beginning to show that he's trusting his teammates. And as a result, all the different guys on this team are beginning to make plays. They're beginning to get buckets. They're beginning to set each other up. They're beginning to force the defense into tough rotations. And we're scoring easier and easier and easier. As we see guys like Asar Thompson becoming increasingly in the most beautiful way, confident in his drives to the basket, in his drives to the rim, his forays, right, his dives, recognizing that there's no defender his size that has his athleticism, who can stay with his speed. And when he gets downhill, even if you're trying to retreat and stay in position, he can just leap and finish right over the top of you, which is an incredible advantage. It is an incredible advantage that we know that we have this guy who can finish with either hand, who can give you a spin move, who can give you a little bump and elevate and shoot over the top. Another guy who puts pressure on the rim, who can get to the free throw line. I think we start seeing Asar Thompson shoot more and more threes as this season goes on. I think he's slowed that down a little bit, but I don't think it stops. I think it comes right back. It comes right back. This game against Boston is about us. It is about the Detroit Pistons building upon what we did against Atlanta, which I said at the beginning of this was our most dominant performance of the year, by far. Hands down, as a team, we played from top to bottom, from 1 through 12, meaning Cade, Duncan, Asar, Tobias, Duran, Stu, Ron, Dennis, Karras, Javante, or Ivy, and then Marcus Sasser. And then Paul Reed. All 13 guys came in the game and contributed to that win in dominant fashion. We played Detroit basketball. We locked down on defense. We got out in transition. We trusted each other on offense. We played within our roles. We starred within our roles, playing confidently and deliberately with a level of intentionality that really shows that we've settled into what we're being asked to do, who we're being asked to be. This game against Boston is just another opportunity to test this out. Right? This is a sparring match against a tougher opponent. But nobody who I would believe is truly a test for us. Now, let me be clear on something. That doesn't mean that Boston's not going to compete. Please believe we are the measuring stick. We are the metric for just how good you think your team is. The Detroit Pistons are that litmus test that everyone's going to be measuring themselves against. Boston is 100% going to come into this game with something to prove. Keep in mind, Cade Cunningham also has something to prove in this game. Not just because of the whole MVP thing between him and Jaylen Brown, which right now I would say Jaylen Brown is ahead of him on the MVP ladder, but because we lost by 3 points. Because we lost to the Boston Celtics on a missed free throw, Cade Cunningham had an opportunity to tie the game and missed a free throw. Ended up turning into a layup, and the game was over. Cade wants his lick back. Cade's going to want to get his get back. He's going to want to get his shots in. And this version of Cade Cunningham, who trusts his team, but is also going to be very aggressive, should be scary for the Boston Celtics. Now, I don't necessarily anticipate Cade looking to become this heliocentric takeover guard as he has in the past of this season. I don't expect to see that type of dominance. What I expect to see is Cade Cunningham maximizing every opportunity for scoring, every good opportunity, every mismatch, every swing of the ball, every opportunity to cut without the ball, to move without the ball and catch the ball in motion, every opportunity to get an offensive rebound, every opportunity to get out in transition, every opportunity to impose his will, getting into the post, off the pick and roll. If you don't double, it's a bucket. If you don't collapse, it's a bucket. If you don't rotate, if you don't close out, it's a bucket. It's a bucket. We've all seen when Cade Cunningham trusts the offense and looks to score within the flow, it is scary. It looks easy, bro. It looks so easy. Looks like he's on cruise control. And next you know, he's got 30-something points. When Cade is that guy, that's our MVP. That's our MVP. Get some of these comments in here. It's good to see y'all in the chat chopping it up. I can't get to all of them. Let me see. Yeah, Pistons better with Boston. Totally see that. We got 36 people in the chat. Yo, as always, do me a favor, smash the like button for me. Remember, it is a small thing for you, but a big thing for the channel. So I really appreciate all the love and support. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Also, yo, become a member. You know what I mean? Like, this is a dope community. I love seeing my members in here. Definitely try to get to their comments first, and then the rest. Devro, hopefully that Cade shows up tonight. I believe we will, especially after a couple days off. Totally do. Attila the Hun, like the movie Hoosiers, 4 passes before any shot. Yeah. Though we're also in an NBA where taking the first quality shot means a lot more. And considering the fact that we score the majority of our points in transition and off of turnovers and missed shots, as most teams do, but because our half-court offense isn't the best, I think we want the first good shot. We don't want to force anything. We'll take the fifth shot opportunity, right? You know, swinging the ball, pick and roll, swing, run a little action, penetrate, kick, right? Maybe an extra dump off, and then score. Okay, cool. But if we can get Duncan Robinson on the first pass, streaking down the sideline wide open, hell yeah. If we can penetrate off top by Asar Thompson and Tobias Harris in the corner wide open, hell yeah. All right, so it won't always be 5 passes or more before, or 4 passes or more before a shot. I will say that I am also interested in these Boston Celtics. Remember, I am also a fan of the game, and I want to see good basketball. I want to see the Asar Thompson versus Jaylen Brown matchup. This is going to be a great game where I think Cade and Asar take note of Jaylen Brown dropping 30 pieces on us. He's had great games against us. He's had great games against everybody. Let's be real. Jaylen Brown has had great games against everybody. So I wouldn't take it too personal. But as a basketball player, you do take it personal. You do take, you're like, you know, hey, you ain't that good. Slow your ass down. I want to see Asar Thompson go, I got it, guys. I got it. I'm going to do what I do on offense, but on defense, I got him. I got him. I know what I want to do. And if you go back and you watch the previous game between the Boston Celtics and Detroit Pistons, Asar Thompson made his life miserable. 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 What I would love to see is the Detroit Pistons show that they can slow him down. Let's keep him under 30. Let's keep him off the free throw line. Let's make him have to make hard shots from beginning to end. Let's also make sure that we slow down Peyton Pritchard. He's their other shot creator, playmaker. Ghostkeeper in the chat. Yes, I also want to see Asar and Ron on Jaylen Brown. Ron Holland will also be a part of that in a big way. I want to see how we contain that trio. Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, and Derek White. Derek White got off against us last game in the second half. And if I'm honest with you, it was, I'm not going to say it was a fluke game, but it was definitely like, all right, you're having a moment. You're having that one shining moment. You're going to record this game, clip it up, take the highlights, send it to your kids type of deal. Remember daddy hoop. You know what I mean? Like me and my daughter went to a basketball court a few weeks ago. I hadn't played ball like all year. It's been a year. And I'm out there and I'm super rusty. But I tell you right now, in that third game, and I got on a heater, and I dropped 9 points out of our 15. Sorry, we went to 12 out of our 12. And I hit those back-to-back twos. I best believe I was looking right at my baby girl. I was like, baby girl, you see that? You see daddy? You see what daddy doing? This might be one of the last moments you get to see Poppy out here hooping like this. Take note. Poppy can hoop. This is one of those games for Derek White. He gonna clip that thing up, put it on a save drive to send to his kids, grandkids. Don't forget what I used to do. I don't know if y'all seen Above the Rim. Remember Above the Rim back in the day? One of the greatest hoop movies of all time. One of the greatest, if not the greatest. I say Adam Sandler's one about the draft with what's his name? Hernan Gomez. Juan Hernan Gomez was in it. Was the star, and Anthony Edwards was in it too. That was a great hoop movie. Also, that was a great basketball movie. But I would say my favorite of all time is Above the Rim, and it's this scene with what's his name? I don't think it's Forrest. It's not Forrest Whitaker. What's his name? But Tupac is in it, and Shepard, Tommy Shepard. Oh, He Got Game is a good one too. He Got Game is one of the, you know what? We could have a moment right now. Y'all put in the chat your favorite hoop movie of all time. My top two, Above the Rim. Also like He Got Game, right? I got hops. I got hops, right? But then also the one by what's his name? Let's see if I pull him up. Either way, in the movie Above the Rim, right? Tommy Shepard is doing his thing. The Six Man with Marlon. That's your favorite? Hoosiers? Hoosiers is dope. But there's this scene where this homeless brother, unhoused brother, been through some stuff, obviously. And he is wanting to play ball. And let me pull it up right here. Above the Rim. This is a super segue. Please forgive me. I try to have fun. A little bit, cast. I want to get the names because this is fun. This is fun, right? Oh, Bernie Mac. How'd I forget Bernie Mac, bro? How'd I forget Bernie Mac? Oh, man. How'd I forget Bernie Mac? He was playing Flip. Coach Carter was good, too. Facts. He was playing Flip. and above the rim. And he's talking to Shep, Leon Johnson. Shep. And he's going out there and he's like, they can't erase where we were, Shep. They can't erase where we were. I'm telling you, one of the greatest scenes, one of the greatest. I'm saying, hey, if you haven't seen Above the Rim in a while, go see it this season, this winter break. Go and cut up, get you a bag of popcorn, get you pour it into a bowl, right? Get all your snacks and watch that thing. Great movie. Marlon Wayans, Tupac Shakur, Dwayne Martin, right? Wood Harris. They got everybody is in this epic, epic, epic basketball hoop movie. Great movie. All this to say, I digress. I'm gonna bring it on back. I'm gonna pull it on back. Derek White had a moment. Can't forget where we were, Shep. He gonna be saying that one day to Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday for a reunion, leaving the gym. They can't erase where we were, and he's gonna be looking back at these games. Oh, loving basketball just because it's not late. Yeah, Devereaux, that's classic. It's classic. I think we all honestly, if you a ball player and you saw in loving basketball, you was looking for a little PYT, a little pretty young thing who hooped. Look, if you was beautiful smile and you had a little handle, you was wifey. You was wifey. Couldn't get no better than that. I mean, we could rebound for each other. We can get shots up together. We can watch the game and we're both yelling at the screen. It don't get no better than that. Come on now. Come on now. Let me see. Bobby Knight. Let me see. Reminds me of Southgate Aquinas. Going 28. Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Nice one. All right. Let me say this. This is a statement game. You know, if I look at the schedule for the Detroit Pistons, we'll pull it up here. This is a game where the Detroit Pistons, to a large degree, should be in control. Should win this game handedly. I will say this, and the schedule has been really nice. Has been really good early on. And if anything, has been perfectly aligned. Because we've had a lot of rest as our guys are figuring things out. We've had ample practice opportunities for our guys to be able to iron themselves out, figure out their roles, work on their game, get up some shots, work on some different sequences, plays, things that they want to feature. Having 2 days off after beating Atlanta should only add to what we're going to see in this next game. And I mean Jaden Ivey, Isaiah Stewart, Asar Thompson, the guys that we weren't necessarily anticipating getting consistent offense from, those guys having big games. Dennis Jenkins settling in that much more, right? Karis LeVert, you know he's a bucket, but now he's playmaking. He's getting things like 8 assists, leading us in assists for a game, right? Ron Holland getting into double-digit scoring consistently. Jalen Duren continuing to grow and flex his muscles, literally and figuratively, as a player, as an athlete, as he makes his run towards potentially his first All-Star berth. I mean, I don't see why not. Towns isn't exactly lighting the world on fire, especially he's not playing defense. And Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, they've been hurt all the time. And Giannis is out again. And Joel Embiid, well, he had a good game a few nights ago, but he's not exactly lighting the world on fire. I can't really see another big man who's had a greater impact on his team's winning and been playing great in the Eastern Conference. So there's a good chance he's an Eastern Conference All-Star, if not an Eastern Conference starter, alongside Cade Cunningham, who, of course, is an All-Star. I think this is a game where we continue to flex our muscles collectively. I think it is a game where we see our bench take over for stretches. If anything, we might look a whole lot like we did against Atlanta. Look, I'm not saying the bench mob of Sam Hauser, Bayer Shireman, I don't know who they're going to go with. Hugo Gonzalez, Josh Minot, um, maybe Luca Garza, whoever comes off that bench. I'm not saying those guys are as bad as Vic Krejci, Keaton Wallace for the Atlanta Hawks, um, and those boys. But it's pretty close. It's pretty close. Boston, really what they do is they stagger the Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, Derek White trio and try to have at least two of them as much as possible on the court. And then, of course, start and finish with that trio. What I'm looking forward to is when there's only two of them, that we absolutely dominate them. If I can put Dennis Jenkins on Peyton Pritchard or Derek White, and then Ron Holland on Jaylen Brown or Derek White or Peyton Pritchard, I expect us to win those matchups defensively. I expect us to look shut down on defense. Keep in mind, we got Isaiah Stewart off the bench under the rim. Of course, they're going to try to get into Isaiah Stewart's head again. I get it. That's what they do. They're going to try to rough him up. They're going to try to get him off his center. And that will be an ongoing, continued growth point and maturation of Isaiah Stewart. I get it. I get why you're trying to get into my head. I get why you're trying to get me riled up. I get why you're trying to get me to retaliate. I get it. Because I'm that good. And you're thinking to yourself, this is the only way you can get me out the game. You have a lack of options. You can't just D me up. I can shoot threes. I can take you off the bounce. I can get to the rim. I can post you up. I can finish with both hands. Got a little jump hook. I got a little step through. Got a little push shot. One of the best shot blockers in the NBA. Top 2 rim protector in the NBA. Of course you want to get me out of the game. Of course you want to get into my head. I think this is a game that the Detroit Pistons bully the Boston Celtics. This is a bully game. If Detroit bullies the Boston Celtics and wins handedly by double-digit points, I will start looking at them like they really arrived and turned the corner. And when I say arrived and turned the corner, I mean that they have significantly put themselves far and ahead away from the rest of the Eastern Conference. I know we still got to beat Cleveland. I know we still got to beat New York. I get it. But when you start dominating the teams that are playoff teams, and because they're second tier, you remind them that the gap between the first tier and the second tier is so wide that you might as well just cross this game out. Don't think you're coming in here for a victory. That's what I'm anticipating happening. For no other reason than the time off. JB Bickerstaff and his coaching staff have shown that they can prepare this team, get them locked in, and they're developing them in these off days so that when they come back from a break, they're playing at an even higher level than when they left. And you see the jumps from before the 5-game break to playing against Atlanta. It's a significant jump. I expect to see another jump. Maybe not the same level, but a jump. But us playing here puts everyone else down here. The way we played against Atlanta, I'm hoping that becomes our standard. I am hoping that becomes our standard. Yo, we got the game tonight, 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm definitely going to be watching the game. I can't wait. I'm going to get back from work on time to get to the game, to watch this game, have my popcorn ready. And then we don't play again until Thursday. We have another 3 days off, or 2 days off, Tuesday and Wednesday, before playing on Thursday. And then we have one day off, Friday, and then we play on Saturday, and then we play Monday, and then a back-to-back Tuesday. Then we get back into the rhythm of the season. I can't wait. I can't wait. I think we continue to see this team grow by leaps and bounds. I think we continue to see the Detroit Pistons flex their muscles, continue to see them elevate. But before I get off, first off, if you haven't already, smash the like button for me. Appreciate everyone who's been in here in this conversation today, this morning. I go live every morning from either at 8 a.m. Pacific or 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you enjoyed the channel and the conversation. I always try to get back and forth with the chat. If you haven't had the opportunity already, hit subscribe and definitely become a member. If you're a member, I try to make sure I get to your comments first, because the comment section, it be popping. And there'd be so many, man, so many great comments, great questions. Yeah, it's just, I'm seeing stuff right now I didn't even get a chance to. Pistons could be 32-5 when they play the Lakers. Bro, I was just looking at that, Attila the Hun. I was literally just looking at that. I was just scrolling down. I said, yep, we can get Boston. We can get Dallas. We can get Charlotte. We can get Portland. We can get Sacramento Kings. We can get the Jazz. We can get the Clippers. And then we'd face the Lakers. That would be one of the first. But I'm not going to pretend like the Clippers are not going to be a test. I'm not going to pretend like Portland won't be a test. I'm not going to pretend like Dallas won't be a test before we get to the Lakers. But look, I like to also leave y'all with a little something for the day. For the day. This super dope thing that I learned a while ago. I was doing this audiobook called The Psychology of Money. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. It's a really dope audiobook. But there was this principle that they talked about called the law of compounding. The law of compounding. And the law of compounding basically says that something that we've talked about before, that life is not linear. It's not this straight line. Life, many times, doing all these turns and wiggles, ups and downs, back and forths, ups and downs, right? And that's just normal. That's life. So anticipate that life is going to have a lot of changes, and it's important that you lean into those changes, so you have an opportunity to shape change in your life the way that you're really desiring. Don't fight it. When change comes, it's here. You have to embrace it and figure out what you want to do with it. But this is also a part of that. Life is not linear. In the law of compounding, it says that what you do consistently over a period of time, it does not move forward in this like 1, 2, 3, 4, gradually moving up. What actually happens is the more intensely that you practice something and develop something within yourself, the sooner it becomes a natural, unconscious part of who you are as a human being. And as it does, you compound on top of, the business sense, the interest that is earned from practicing that thing over and over time. And you take a leap in terms of your capacity or abilities in relation to whatever it is you were practicing. So, in other words, let's say you're trying to get good at basketball and you're practicing your ball handling, and you might suck at it, and you're practicing, 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 practicing. One day you don't just gradually get better. One day you actually take a leap because you no longer think about dribbling the ball with your left hand or your offhand. You no longer think about putting the ball through your legs. You just do it naturally. You no longer think about doing a spin move. You just do it naturally. And as a result, now you're no longer thinking about the move. You're thinking about what you want to do after that. So your style of play, your abilities take a jump. Same thing in life. Let's say you're working on communication skills with your partner. It's kind of what I do for work. with your partner, with your kids, right? They're acting up. There's a lot of conflict. You're working through conflict because we've talked about it before. Conflict is not a bad thing. It's an opportunity for growth and the deepening of relationships. And all of a sudden, you're working on the, active listening, things like that, right? Make sure I'm listening, not just thinking of a response, not just responding to how I'm feeling about what you're saying, but actually listening to what you're really trying to say so I can get to know and understand you, not just projecting me onto you and assuming what you mean. Right. So you're practicing active listening and it feels real robotic at first. And you keep doing it over time. And all of a sudden, weeks go by and the months go by. And then all of a sudden, you get to a point where you recognize, oh, you just automatically listen for what the person is trying to say. And so now you begin to go beyond just trying not to just respond. You go beyond not just trying not to get into this argumentative back and forth, projecting your feelings and thoughts onto the other person. But now you can actually go a little bit deeper and you're actually curious about what's going on under the surface for your partner, for your kids. What's going on at school? What's going on in a relationship? You know what? You're right. Life has changed because it's not linear. Things have changed. Maybe you're dealing with that change. Man, what are you needing today that might be different than what you were needing yesterday? Right? What's going on for you that I can show up better in this relationship and be a better partner, a better spouse, a better husband, a better father? Right? Now you start going deeper. Now you start developing those relationships to have that much more that it can hold. Right? This is what it means within the law of compounding. When it comes to changing your life and things developing in your life, that the more you buy into it, especially when you know it's good for you, the more you do it effectively over time, the sooner you get to a point where it just becomes a part of you. And when it becomes a part of you, who you are begins to change at that point. And the potential and opportunities for how you experience life also changes. And so I hope that for all of y'all, I hope that you each get an opportunity to continue your journey. Remember, it's your journey, it's a competition of one with you and you. Ain't nobody else to compare yourself to. Ain't no other person with your DNA. Even if you had an identical twin, they would be different than you. So enjoy your journey. Laugh deeply, love people along the way, right? And live it to the fullest, right? Because if you don't, who else will? With that said, I'm gonna get out of here. Got the game tonight, 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern. I can't wait for it. I will be on shortly after. If not, I will for sure be back on tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, hit the little all button, and if you can, become a member. I love my members. Try to get to their comments first. Love you all. Appreciate you all for being here. Y'all have an amazing day. Peace.